Welcome back to PonyFans Live. PonyFans Live, once again, brought to you by Lakewood's First and 10 at the corner of Abrams and Mockingbird in Dallas. Gameday Cloth. Win or lose, love your clothes. Visit their store at the corner of Legacy and the Tollway in Plano, or check out GamedayCloth.com for the finest SMU gear anywhere, and PonyFans.com, the oldest, largest, and fastest growing website dedicated to the SMU Mustangs and PonyFans everywhere. You guys just beat East Carolina to seal the Western Division Championship in Conference USA. You are going to the first conference title game in school history this Saturday at 11 o'clock Central on ESPN2, I think, against Central Florida. But before we look ahead to that, you're at East Carolina. All right, you weren't here last year. You're at East Carolina against a team that supposedly was very upset about losing to you last year. They got great athletes. You're on the road. You fall behind by 2 touchdowns. Were you surprised at all that you were able to right the ship and come back? And what does it say about the growth of this team, the growth of this program, that you could take on that adversity at the beginning of the game and fight your way back in such a big game?
First off, talk about one thing that Coach Jones talked to us about at the beginning of the season. He talked about persevering. No matter what was going on in the game, no matter what was going on outside of football, persevering. You know, we've been down before. Sometimes we have slow starts. I mean, I hate to put it like that, but sometimes we have slow starts. But one thing that I love about this team, and I love about the offense, the defense, and the special teams is we believe in each other. We know somebody's going to make a play somewhere in the game that's going to change the tide of the game and get us to where we need to go.
Someone's going to make a play like this guy over here. He's been doing it a lot lately. Coach Jones talks about the steps that a program has to take, though. You can't go from 1-11 his first year to, top 20 overnight. Did that game feel like a significant step? I mean, obviously every win is important. Victories on the road are important, but to fall behind, to have a team that's trying just as hard as you do, because they played with a lot on the line as well. How significant did that step feel with your victory Friday in Greenville? Is his mic off? Hang on. I think it is. Where's the...
I feel like it changed it.
There we go.
I think it changed the program a lot. I mean, a conference championship is only going to help us with recruiting. So, I feel we need to win this game, and the recruiting will get better. I mean, we have a 4-star prospect coming in here now. That quarterback from Sarah, like you spoke about from California. You know how I feel about California athletes. I'm not going to speak on the Texas ones, but I just feel like the players we're bringing in here are a lot better. Coach Jones feels that way. I mean, we have a couple promising freshmen. Just to name a few, Derek Thompson, Kenneth Thacker, you guys seen him. Chris Parks, he's going to be good. I mean, the Washington State game was rough for him. But it's a good thing to learn to get beat. It's better to learn to get beat early than to get beat when you're older and you don't know how to handle it. So it's actually a good thing that he learned that.
All right, you mentioned the California athletes, and I'm not going to ask you guys which is better, because I don't want to be stuck in the middle when you guys start arguing about it. But are California players different than Texas players, or do you grow up training differently than these guys do?
For the most part, yeah, because most of the Texas football players, in terms of skill position, will just play football or run track. In California, we have football players that play soccer, basketball, track, lacrosse, all types of other things. Like in Texas, because football here, I've learned, is just everything when it comes to sports, and football is king of everything. In California, it's not really like that. We're kind of balanced with all sports. So, it's just we have different type of athletes, so that's how I feel about it.
You guys were already bowl eligible before you went to East Carolina, but that victory guaranteed you're going somewhere. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to go? How's that for putting you on the spot?
We love our SMU fans to death, but we do not want to be in Dallas.
You don't want to be in Dallas?
Don't want to be in Dallas. We set a goal at the beginning of the season to win the conference championship. That's the goal. That's what we plan to do. And wherever that win takes us, that's where we're going to go. We don't plan on losing. We don't plan on being in Dallas. That's, you know.
You want Memphis because if you beat UCF on Saturday, you're going to Memphis for the Liberty Bowl.
Supposedly.
Allegedly. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk about, among the players, is there a bigger priority, conference championship versus one bowl versus the other?
Conference championship.
I mean, they've been talking about bowls around here for 20 years. You got there last year.
Got there last year. But kind of, you know, one thing I've been talking about as a leader on the team is the importance of this game. The importance of this game can really, you know, change the tide of this university and take us to another level that Coach Jones is steadily talking about. You know, this game can really, you know, catapult us into, you know, maybe the top 25 next year. I'm not saying that's what it's going to do, but I mean, you know, we talk about SMU on the climb and SMU on the rise. This is one of those games that can turn this, you know, university into something that's talked about nationally.
When you look at Saturday's opponent, UCF, a few games into the season, their starting quarterback got hurt. And they stuck in this guy, Jeff Godfrey, who is listed at 5'11" and 180, but by all accounts, that's a pretty generous listing. He's a small guy, doesn't have the biggest arm in the world, but he's rushed for 10 touchdowns already, and he's thrown for another dozen touchdowns. But their passing numbers, good but not great. Their running numbers, good but not great. But they're putting up 35 points a game. Where are these points coming from? What scares you about this offense?
It's the quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of touchdowns. I mean, their running backs have like the touchdown, like you said, is like it's odd to describe the offense because like we call the receivers like the nameless wonders. Not to disrespect the receivers, but they have like about 4 or 5 guys that are like around like 400 yards, but they're all really good receivers, and the quarterback just. His running ability changes the whole offense. I think that the quarterback getting hurt kind of compares to Kyle and Bo last year. Like the quarterback getting hurt is a benefit to them because that quarterback, he can play. I mean, he can run. He doesn't have the best arm in the world, but he is very accurate. I mean, he leads the conference in passing efficiency, so he's a pretty good player.
You mentioned there are a lot of different guys, both running the ball and receiving, who've gotten into the end zone. As a defender, would you prefer to face an offense where they have one stud you know is going to get the ball all the time, as opposed to them rotating all these different people in and out, and so you can't really focus so much on one guy?
To me, it doesn't matter because you just need to play your game, and I've learned that over the season. You got to play your game. It doesn't matter who you're going against because you got to use your technique and your ability. I mean, we plan to win this game. We win this game. We're playing Georgia. They got A.J. Green. That's the top receiver in this year's draft class. I mean, Sterling's probably going to be guarding him, to be honest. But like we just have to just work on our technique and not worry about who we're covering. We got to have in our mind that we can cover anybody and with that confidence. So that's how it is. On
the other side, UCF has a defensive end named Bruce Miller, who made a lot of preseason All-America teams, not just all-conference teams. Right. I think he was Defensive Player of the Year in the conference last year. Right. This past weekend, he had a couple of sacks at Memphis to break the all-time school record. How do you describe this guy? Or when you study him, what do you see on film that makes him impressive?
The way he uses his hands. He uses his hands probably the best that I've seen in the past couple weeks. Uses his hands very well. Has a motor, which is something I haven't seen since the Navy game. You know, usually by the end of the game, I'm able to break a guy's will, but this guy kind of compares me to guys in Navy where they're relentless. They never stop coming, you know, no matter what the score is, no matter how tired they are, you know, they keep coming, and that's one thing that I'm going to enjoy, you know, about him because that's something I love, somebody that's relentless.
How much do they move him around? I mean, I think they play him a little bit at both defensive ends, and they even drop him back into an outside sort of a rush linebacker spot occasionally, don't they? Mm-hmm. And
they also even put him inside at D tackle and run some different stunts with him just to create different matchups and different problems for opposing offensive lines.
Is he the key guy that you've got to look for on every play and account for before you even address everybody else?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Even when we had the guy from Marshall, you know, who was also
Curry.
Yeah, who's also a stud. We didn't change anything we did. We didn't give any extra attention. We did, like, you know, Crawford just said, we did what we're coached to do. We did our technique. And we you know, that's one thing that these coaches and Coach Clinton really, you know, harps on a lot about. It's not about what they do. It's about what we do. We can care less, if they line up and bring a full house blitz, if they rush two guys, we're going to do what we do and play our game.
3 of their top 4 tacklers are their starting linebackers. Is that because those guys are really exceptional athletes and exceptional players, or is their defense set up so that their defensive linemen tie up all the blockers and then their linebackers can run free to the ball?
Just to make it very simple, they just make plays. They go out and make plays. It's no tricking or anything special. They're a very good team, but they just go out and make plays. They find a way to win the game. They find a way to make it hard for the opposing offense.
How concerned are you guys about the health of your team? Everybody's banged up at this time of year, but how concerned are you about the health of your teammates? Kyle got rolled up and sprained his ankle a little bit the other day. Taylor Thompson sat out. Darius Johnson sat out. JT Brooks sat out. You expecting to have your full crew back in Orlando on Saturday?
Yes, they better. They better suck it up. That's pretty much it. Yeah, we expect everybody to be back. I mean, because everybody's been practicing. I think JT practiced today. DJ practiced today, and he looked better than what he has. So I think they'll be ready to play, and plus they have in their heads conference championship, so they want to play. So
I assume when the conference championship is on the line, you're basically going to have to start stealing helmets to keep people off the field, right?
Pretty much. I mean, everybody knows what's on the line. Like I said, we know how important the game is, and I think no player, whether hurt, or even on scholarship. I mean, as a redshirt, if you had a chance to play, you want to play in a conference championship game. So, the guys that are not playing right now are going to try everything they can, especially if they're hurt, to try to come back.
All right, we will see how this shakes out. Saturday, 11 o'clock Central on ESPN2. SMU taking on UCF in the first championship game in school history. Doing this, good luck Saturday in Orlando. We'll see you next time on PonyFans Live.